Come on, mate, let's go. And welcome to KG5 for Friday night football featuring the Glenorchy Knights. They take on South Hobart to open round 7 action. I'm Andrew Cooling. Joining me to call this game this evening is Paul Hunt. And Paul, good to be out here on a beautiful night for football.
Glorious night for football out here at KG5. We were just talking off air about the difficulty in getting a park around this ground, which is not something you usually see this early in the season, but a hotly contested game awaits us tonight. Two of the bigger teams in southern Tasmanian football over this millennium, Glenorchy Knights and South Hobart. Seen many good games at this venue on a Friday night down the years, and I'm more than looking forward to another one.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've got two teams that are capable of playing in a really positive attacking manner. Knights, look, they're certainly dealing with a few injury issues. They've really been hit hard. They're trying to fight their way through that whilst they adapt to the new challenge of the NPL Tasmania. Declan Brown talking this morning at the press conference about how last year and previous seasons there's been one or two big games they've had to get themselves up for. Now it's every week the tough games are coming. That shifting to that mentality hasn't been made easier by the bad injury hand they've been dealt with, Paul.
No, they've certainly been down a few players. We've obviously not got Thomas Young here tonight. We haven't got Jack Kupsha we've seen already. Now the Brown brother is still, as we're saying, about a month away. They really haven't been dealt a good hand. But then again, South Hobart have come into the season a little underdone team-wise. They've just getting Ben Hamlet back and Declan Foley back slowly from the bench. Albie Lazinski still getting back to fitness. So both teams not quite starting with their best 11 as the season started, but they're both building towards their top 11, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we get our first look at the couple of new imports into this South Hobart team, we wait to see what they'll bring. Iski Van Dorn, the Canadian winger who played for the Hobart Zebras last year, he is on the bench tonight. He flew in, arrived yesterday, so we'll see if we get a glimpse of Iski this evening, just complimenting Darcy Hall coming the week before and starting with 5 goals against South Hobart. So certainly a few little hiccups early on, but they've navigated their way through that period south. Now they've strengthened. I think we all expect the chasers on in terms of trying to catch Devonport, who have looked the competition standard bearers through the opening month of the league season. As we take a look at the Glenorchy Knights starting 11 this evening, you see they are starting to get a few of those players back. Callum Griffin making his first start for the year. Declan Brown's been their star man in attack. Looking forward to seeing what he can do. No sign of his twin brother Callum just yet, though, still about a month away at the latest I heard. George Hallard will partner Tyler Harrison in the middle of defence. I'm really impressed with Samuel James' work in midfield. I think he's having a really effective year in there. Nicholas Naden, he's got 5 goals so far this season. Dimitri Nesta, interesting to see Dimi Nesta in net tonight, given Lockie Hart, from all reports, absolutely sensational last week against Launceston City. The fact he's not even on the pine tonight suggests maybe unavailable. Matthew Nowicki, I'd imagine, will lead the line up top. Jake Stewart always runs hard, and Luke Warner will slide back in at left back. On the bench, Lockie Hardwick, impressed against Olympia when he came on a few weeks back. Aaron Marnie, Rowan Heggie, good attacking options. James Sherman, the coach, saw him make a little cameo last week, and he's just got himself there in case he needs to deploy himself, the Sherman tank. Alex Woodham, the backup keeper. Pretty good side there, Knights have posted tonight. Almost getting near full strength, Paul.
Almost, exactly, as Sherman did allude into pre-season. He'll only insert himself when necessary. He's been on the pine twice in the first 6 games of the season, so maybe he's deeming his skills necessary. Good to see Cal Griffin back out there. Normally operates as a central midfielder, so we'll see how he goes in that position. And as you say, Jakey Stewart has made a good start as well, and Bellini getting starting time in the NPL, which is good to see. He's dominated the championship for the last few years, as we'll swing over to South Hobart's 11. Yeah,
Jack Bowman there. You'll imagine he'll be sliding into the defensive unit. Kieran Brown in between the sticks. We've got Robert Hunter Harrison on the bench as his deputy tonight, as Graham Wright is away. So in comes the American who was at Kingborough over the pre-season. Things not quite working out there. He slides onto the bench tonight. Gilly DeSouza, in an up and down sort of a year for DeSouza. He probably hasn't strung a full 90 minutes of his best football together, but he's got those 2 goals that have been quality strikes and important ones for his team. Like Farrell grabbed a brace last week as he got in on the demolition job against Clarence. Adam Gorry, I suspect he'll have his run of the right wing this evening, although with Darcy Hall, that man, returning beneath him suddenly, that right-hand flank is a very dangerous one indeed for South Hobart. 5 goals on return for Hall, although he certainly will face a tougher defence this evening. Toby Havainen, a youngster trying to nail down a starting spot, has been impressive. Nick Morton, I think, is getting back to his best form. For mine, has probably been South's best performer through the opening weeks of the season. If not him, then Jack Turner. We always know what he brings. Oscar Thomas will be at centre half, and Alex Walter, he'll probably be on the opposite flank to Darcy Hall, with Turner in between them, I suspect. On the bench there is that man, Iski Van Dorn, in from Calgary. He's paid his way over here. He'll look to be making an immediate impact. We know the quality he has. You've got Declan Foley, a former Knight. That could be interesting if he gets on and looks to snap a few of his old teammates. He only knows one way to play. Declan Foley. Benjamin Hamlet will be the backup striker, and then 15-year-old Tay Evans makes the bench this evening. So we'll see if he gets a look in. I think probably only if the game was well within their keeping. What are you expecting from this one, Paul?
The thing that struck me first about reading this South Hobart lineup tonight is balanced. It just looks a bit more balanced than we've seen in the first few weeks of the season. You've got Havainen, Gorry, Thomas and the Archer Jack Bowman in defence, which is probably a bit more settled. We've seen them rocking the Belgian 2014 Euro 4 centre-backs across the line there, and then you've got them bombing on, and then just injection of pace that you can get from Van Dorn off the bench, and hopefully Declan Foley. I really look forward to seeing him crunching some tackles, and the ironic shouts of "Come Knights" launching from the stands up here. But that's the thing. And you got Jack Turner, Morton, and then Darcy Hall. Be interesting to see how he goes against a slightly more tougher opposition. It was a good way to ease himself back into NPL action on the other night here, and we'll see how that goes. I'll launch a prediction. I do think South Hobart are probably favourites in this game. I do fancy them to take this one out here. I don't think it's going to be a huge difference. I just think they're coming into fitness a couple of weeks earlier than Knights and just a little bit more intense. We did see the pre-season friendly earlier on, which Knights managed to steal a victory, but I think now we're in competitive action. I do think South will take it out tonight, Cooling.
Yeah, I think they'll enter this one as favourites. There's no doubt about that. I think for Knights it's a matter of showing they can compete with the bigger teams. They were touched up fairly handily by Devonport. A tough trip for anyone, but that was a real reality check, I think, for Knights heading into the NPL to see just how tough it would be. And South Hobart are in a similar ilk, and they're always going to give you a good game. We saw last time under lights here, the Knights put up a really good fight for about 30-35 minutes against Olympia. Had them on toast, could have really put themselves in a match-winning position. Couldn't quite convert their chances that night. If they have a similar period in the Ascendancy tonight, absolutely crucial that they do convert those chances, because this South Hobart team have got plenty of goals in them.
Yeah, and with Nowicki getting back to full fitness, starting up front here tonight, I do think that'll give Thomas and Bowman a bit of trouble here. He's got that good combination of strength and pace as the Knights striker, and good to see Dimmy Nestor in goals as well. It's rare you see 3 goalkeepers used in the first 5 weeks of a season, but a slice of cheese favourite is the experienced Knights keeper, and a few more faces going back out there as we look at the Knights side. And referees tonight here, I certainly see Stratos Plomaridis, Tony Pert, and who we got on the other side there, Cooley?
Oh, I'm going to need the camera zoom in here.
Yeah, luckily he's just run past. Did you get it in that?
I'll get back to you on that one.
Get back to me on that one, not a problem.
Either way, we got Stratos is out there in the middle, and look, you might notice on the vision, perhaps people have seen it already, a really weird looking pitch tonight, to put it bluntly. The council's come on, dumped a heap of rubber pellets on the pitch, which they plan to put over the entire pitch. Apparently it's part of the pitch design, what it's meant to have. However, they've only really done about a third of it, as they started this morning at about 10 o'clock, and haven't got through the whole pitch, so we've kind of got this near touchline with just this black-looking space that's completely off-colour to the rest of the pitch.
I think the likes of Warrener, Gorrie, Havine, and those who are really going to be out in this kernel, right in front of the Knights bench is where it's worst, where those familiar with KGV, just on the left-hand side of the grandstand, it is all black. There is no green in that section at all. It looks almost Mars-esque, and I know they do this pretty much every year, the council, with the black pellets. It's what the design of this artificial pitch is like, but I would hate to be a defender slide tackling on that. And I think there's going to be a few sore legs in the morning if they have to slide in desperation, especially with the pacey wingers of both teams.
Well, theoretically, the pellet should make it easier to slide than areas that don't have it, but I think it was a little, obviously a Challenge League game on here beforehand, and a few people just wondering, yeah, is it all right? They went through the warm-ups. We saw the warm-ups really being utilised on that space to make sure that players weren't going to be slipping and sliding everywhere. And it was fine. It played fine during the Challenge League game, so hopefully that'll be all right, but just something for the players to adjust to, because one side of the pitch is going to be reacting very differently to the other, and you can kind of catch that in the frame we're showing at the moment. So just a typical NPL Taz.
It's never normal, and it's also never on time, so just another thing that we're always used to here at NPL Taz.
Only 3 minutes delayed here this evening, so I love the fact that built in the extra 15 minutes between games this year, and it still has not affected it in the slightest, but we are underway here, and it should be a cracking affair this evening as Knights take on South Hobart. Look to make some early waves here with Nick Naden trying to spring in behind the archer, Jack Bowman there, as see Toby Havainen has slotted into that left back role. And it looks like Jack Turner will lead the line. Nick Morton just in behind. There's the returning Callan Griffin, his first involvement, a good one, sliding into in it. Toby Havainen straight to De Souza. Now Alex Walter. And we'll see if he can trust the footing. Might just take a couple of runs over it before there's complete trust, I reckon.
Yeah, I think it will, and we'll see D'Souza and Havainen combining well. You could just even see there before Walter getting on the same page as some of his newer players, just making that run a tad earlier than we've seen previously in this season as the Frenchman Loic Farrell paddles away. Vinan. Now to Walter. Cal Griffin with his second slide challenge in the first minute.
Welcome back.
Exactly right, as Vinan. That's surely just a foul, but clearly not given, so a throw in. It was more of a throw than anything else there. It was almost like a Greco-Roman wrestling starter move.
Yeah, just think the referee a little bit blindsided, whereas we were staring right down the barrel of that one as Oscar Thomas, the giraffe, comes across, puts that one into touch, partnering Bowman in the middle of defence. Loic Farrell, the deepest of the midfielders, he'll drop in there. As this one's worked up towards Nowicki. A bit of an air swing there. Cross comes into the box, should be dealt with by the Frenchman. Wasn't his most convincing work, but it'll just land in play. Provided a little chance, it was kept alive, and in the end, Thomas will just whack it on out of there. A searching ball for Turner, and Harrison played it off Turner, and has won the throw for his side there. Franco Pravidi just having a touchdown there on the sidelines, the Knights assistant. Thomas nodding that one into touch, and he's going to go very tight man marking, I'd have thought, on Declan Brown. You're going to have to pay him very close attention. And he's a fantastic player and could be a real key to the game as the magic man Bellini tries to make something happen. Wasn't his best work though, and then James comes across and puts it into touch. Still very warm out here. Perfect conditions for football. No wind, lovely temperature. Great night to be out here. It should lend itself to a good game. Cal Griffin has made a great little start to this one. Finds Naden. His pass was poor, trying to find Nowicki.
Certainly right there. The emergency wool coat is certainly not necessary tonight, despite the fact of probably to bring it as you usually do on a Friday night here out in Glenorchy. As Loic Farrell goes the searching ball. Warriner gets ahead to it. He might get another chance in. Nowicki beats it to him as far as Turner. Overlapping run is Gorry Hall trying to get to the blind side of Warriner, but he manages to clear that one effectively. Knights seem to be rocking the standard 4-2-3-1 here tonight by the early indications. South Hobart's front four is going to be pretty fluid throughout. Turner's nominally the starting striker, and I expect to see Hall and Walter up there a little bit as well, as that one's played into the feet of Nowicki. Cal Griffin tries to search it out wide to Stewart, but Stranos will pull it back for the first foul of the game. Georgie Hallard to Harrison. Harrison going long, aiming for Nowicki. I don't know, real pressure there. Bowman to Gorry. Now back to Nowicki. Morton eventually clearing up. Probably could have done that a little easier, South Hobart. They'll get it out through Kieran Brown.
Great little challenge from Havainen to win the ball back in the end. Coming in from behind and winning that one. It's not been the most adventurous start from either of these teams at the moment. Pretty cagey first 5 minutes developing. We'll see a challenge or something spark this one and bring this game to life a little. South looking to drive it long over the top. George Hallard seemingly has the situation under control there, the Englishman. He'll hoist this one forward, and Gorry intelligently letting that one run out there on the far sideline there.
You forget how fast Darcy Hall is when you haven't seen him for a little while. He's got electric pace down that wing.
I think he's got quicker since he departed. He's bulked up a little. I think we're going to see an even better Darcy Hall than we saw before he departed our shores, and that's a real warning as Morton's cross is closed down. Walter with plenty of time and space. The Knights just sit off him here, gives him the chance to cross into the box to Salza. Stings the fingertips of Dimmy Nestor, who passes his first test. A fierce strike, but straight at the Knights' number one, who makes the save.
Good reflexes there from Dimmy Nestor, as you mentioned. Morton just with, or Walter with a little bit of space there. No one really shutting him down. Good header initially from Harrison, falls to Souza. He's got a cannon of a leg on him. That was the import. We've seen that a couple of times throughout this season already, and really stung the palms of Dimmy Nestor. Was right at him though. Didn't display good reflexes to get above his head, but one you'd expect the keeper to save. And as Gorry gives the signal for the corner, around the penalty spot, drifting a bit there towards Turner, gets it down on the chest. Eventually whacked clear. Nowicki was one-on-one with Bowman initially. Has to come and challenge that one down. Bowman under no real pressure knocks that one over the fence, and well, we had a game here the other week where we had no balls over the fence, and now we got one in the first 6 minutes.
We do, and Just got a glimpse of our other linesman, who I believe is Toby Butler.
Thank you.
But play continuing here. And Gorry. Well, if you want a play that sums up Nowicki, that might just be it. He's just coming and battered him for no apparent reason. Oscar Thomas seeing the funny side in it, but I have no idea why he's elected to do that.
I'm completely dumbfounded. I've been watching Nowicki for about 10 years here, and that is probably even up there in one of the most reckless challenges, unnecessary challenges I think I've ever seen from either him or a striker. The phrase striker's challenge doesn't cut that, as we see Brown in on goal and can't quite beat the opposite number. Kieran Brown there, a little bit sloppy there from the free kick. Maybe they were still just in complete amazement at what on earth Nowicki just done.
Well, maybe Nowicki is playing 3D chess while they're playing checkers, and he just envisioned that entire thing. Just saw the chance to spring the turnover. That was very sloppy. South very fortunate not to be made to pay the price. Declan Brown storming in. And good recovery from Jack Bowman to get back there and close him down. Showed good wheels because there was every chance he was just going to race in on goal there and stroke it home as he has throughout the season.
We do need another replay of that Nowicki challenge when the next outage is.
Absolutely.
It's incredible.
First slice of cheese of the game going to Nowicki in that play as this one's worked up the line. Clever back heel there. Tees up Callan Griffin, puts the cross into the back post, and Adam Gorry steers it away from Nick Naden, but promising early signs here for the Knights. They're growing into this one.
Maybe, as you say, maybe that challenge has just lifted the Knights a tad. They've had best chance of the game so far, followed by a searching run down the wing. Another one of the save. And the Knights will have their first corner. Opting to go short to Brown. He played that one a little too much purchase here. The chance might be gone here, and indeed Gorry whacked that one clear. James Griffin just lost his footing there. We'll blame the pellets, and then Jack Turner has played a wonderful ball right to the grandstand.
Darcy Hall had the open field in front of him. Turner knew it. He's just sparingly looked at the sky after he mishit that one. Just didn't have the direction, had the right idea. He was going to spring Hall in behind, and you back him in a foot race. The Knights' defence, not many they're going to be able to stick with him. And so far, South pretty well contained. Nowicki up against Oscar Thomas, just pushes off him, puts the cross in, back heel away. Luke Farrell with an up and under. And it was Walter James nodding on Nowicki, letting it run. And then his cross is charged down by Havainen. Still going Nowicki. Good fall for Jake Stewart. 3 South Hobart defenders just arrive on the situation, but they don't clear it as Declan Brown puts the cross in. Deflected clearance from Morton lands into the path of Walter. Walter out in front of Gorry, and they might be off here, South Hobart. Darcy Street's a favourite runner rolling it down the line. It was a poor ball trying to find Darcy Hall and put into touch by Warrener. Just lacking a little crispness, sharpness so far, South Hobart. A little bit sloppy as they try and make some inroads here. Adam Gorry makes a good run. As George Hallard puts away for a throw in. Approach the 10-minute mark and see the wind just starting to pick up and blow the Knights away. It's got stronger since the game has begun. It's pretty still at kickoff. This one's worked back. Chance for Gorry to put a cross in. Drop pass instead. Well defended by Hallard. Don't quite clear the area.
South Hobart probably looking to get their foot on the ball a little more. They do usually like to hold possession more. Just noticing Nick Morton is one of the furthest players back, playing a bit of a deeper role at the moment, allowing Billy de Souza to push up a bit more. It was like Farrell on the ball, managing to win the throw. Good to see. Morton's always not afraid to do his defensive duty when necessary, and now Naden steals the ball away, looks for Nowicki. Gorry intercepts. Griffin couldn't quite control that one. Plays it to Morton. D'Souza beaten out by Bellini. It's Jake Stewart. Naden's in a huge amount of space on the far side. Couldn't quite get it to him. It's Morton. Good interplay from the Knights, and that's nearly a good ball there from Bellini. Battling away with Jack Turner. Was hoping Stratos saw that shirt pull. Has been spotted.
Taken quickly. Samuel James thumped out of there pretty decisively by Loic Farrell. Absolutely nobody up top for South though. Might box him in though. Runs the length of the pitch here. Warriner won't be able to get a quick throw in away. South closed down the options well, and Warriner just asking the question, why are the teammates not hustling back to give me an option? Actually they do. Sails that one over the head of Nate and made it work for him.
I think Warriner was the only one to really assess the situation there. He was urging to try and keep it in play, and then once he had to take the throw in, he really wanted to take it quickly. Like Farrell there with the rugby union style kick for touch, did very well to box him in. Now Griffin, points clear in the end by Warriner. Nowicki will be doing plenty of running without the ball here tonight. And falls to Naden. Bowman to get around. Jack Bowman does very well. I think he was tripped there, trying to play the advantages Stratos, and he does indeed. It's now Turner in a foot race with Harrison. Harrison comes across from centre back to mop that one up.
Yeah, looking to run Tyler Harrison early in this one. He might skip up across to deal with the threat well enough. Now in for Gorry. You can see why Callan Griffin's been inserted straight back into the starting lineup. It's been fantastic to start this game for Knights. Nick Morton now plays a sharp 1-2, then rolls one to the path of Walter, who maybe just needed to slide that one to Gilly de Souza. He opted to take the shot on, and he didn't hit the target with the goal at his mercy. But he also had the Brazilian unmarked in the middle of the box.
It did fall on his non-preferred Alex Walter, but I'm probably being a little kind there. You'd expect someone of his ilk to put that one on target at least. I didn't quite see de Souza at the far post from my angle, but I'll take your word for it that he was wide open. Lovely play with Morton to create the opportunity. As Havine knocks it back to Brown.
Oh, he throws himself about again. He just makes things happen. That's why we love him.
Yeah, I love that bit of him. I don't love him getting slices of cheese in the 6th minute, though.
No, all for it. Brings the game to life. It has picked up since that exact moment, Paul. It was dull to that point. Last 7 minutes have been great.
I enjoy his impending 75th minute sending off as Griffin knocks that one into touch.
There'll just be more drama.
That's what we're about.
Absolutely. In Game of Thrones, a guy got decapitated 2 minutes into the series. You've got to make an impact early to keep the interest ball.
Very true, as we'll see. Gilly de Souza was indeed in an absolute acre of space there at the back post, and here he is on the ball now in live play. Havinen, most advanced we've seen him tonight. Turner couldn't quite get it there. Nowicki tries to get it in front of the giraffe, Oscar Thomas. Now Havinen to Walter, immediately pressured by Stewart. A bundle of energy down this wing is Jakey Stewart. Vinen. Tell you what, this grandstand is absolutely packed here tonight.
As we said, it's a perfect night for football. Why not come out and watch a good contest? And it's looking like a pretty even battle through the opening 15 minutes. A team dominating. Both teams showing enough their respective fan bases to think they could pull something off this evening. This one's worked forward by Bowman to Darcy Hall. Slightly heavy touch, just allowed Naden in. Might have got away with that touch last week, not tonight. Here's de Souza. Walter in behind Morton, but Turner made it work, and back to de Souza. Well read Tyler Harrison, sensing the danger, sniffed it out and shut that one down. South Hobart looking to start to assert themselves a little. Here's Feral TV. Back to Walter. He retreats to Kieran Brown. Now Adam Gorry. Darcy Hall makes the run. It's not to knock it long.
Player coach James Sherman screaming out instructions for his players to press a little more when they go the switch.
And they do on this occasion.
And that's probably why. As Walter naturally keeps that win. In, plays it to Morton. Morton to can't beat Griffin. And he's offside in the end. Great bit of control there from Alex Walter. I thought he knocked that one out of play. First offside of the match is called. Good to see Captain Harrison back for the Knights. One of the better centre-backs in the whole state, particularly a local is Harrison.
Yeah, obviously it was a great game for Knights when he left Zebras to join them in the championship, but it was a loss for the NPL, there's no doubt. He's one of the best centre-backs in the state, and it's been a shame to not see him competing against the best week in, week out, but really looking forward to his matchups with some of the strikers he'll come against this year, and partnering George Hallard in there this evening. Thomas Young out due to injury, but another option they've got at the back, another one who's dominated the championship for several years, and just as we finally got a look at him at NPL level, made a great start, and he's out again, so just part of that run of injuries that has beset the Knights thus far this year. And both these teams seem to be moving on a little from that and back towards full strength, and Cal Griffin has not put a foot wrong in the opening 16 minutes here, as this one's chipped forward. Bowman hacks it out of there to Turner, well won by Harrison. Griffin again has an eternity to pick a pass and ends up rolling it to Nowicki, back to Griffin, to Nick Naden. Naden's got an overlapping run, just couldn't quite slide it through to Brown, kept a hold of it, worked it to Nowicki again. Nowicki with a clever little ball for Griffin, but it was sniffed out beautifully there by Adam Gorry, and he's off to the races back the other way. Charges and then drops it off for Darcy Hall. Jack Turner. Sousa. South getting their passes going here, but Nick Naden able to step in and win it back, and he clears the area and they'll reload once more.
Good defence there from the Knights. If they really pressed strongly against South, they probably would have got exploited there, but they just gave them 10 yards and it made South second guess, and in the end nothing came of it, but something might come of this. It's Morton. Warthog trying to get in the box, but again Harrison with a toe in. Strong challenge from Avinen on Bellini. Now falls to Nowicki. Brown is in a good pocket of space there on the ground. Is Nowicki, wants a foul, not given. Turner. Darcy Hall in the most amount of space. Elects to go back to Gorry. Naden's going to have to do plenty of running on that far side with South Hobart's favourite Ranger bombing on. That is a lazy pass from Morton, and much to the chagrin, much to the enjoyment of the Knights fans. Gets a nutmeg for his troubles as well. James.
Ever the pantomime villain, Nick Morton. And Knights fans getting stuck into him, but as we've learnt down the journey, you don't want to rile him up too much, because you might just
said about a nervy
poke the bear and awaken him.
Nervy last few minutes in that Olympia Warriors game to start the season, if I do recall.
Yes, he was certainly copying it from the Warriors fans on that evening and responded as he so often does. Nice to have the last laugh, Nick Morton, as Oscar Thomas, the giraffe. Now Havainen. Thomas. South quite content to just knock it back and forth until they draw a few players onto them. Now the Knights do spring the trap, and they've won the ball back, and the first misplaced pass this evening from Griffin. Just not quite on the same wavelength as Jake Stewart. Morton takes it down. Now the Archer draws his bow and sends it across to Gorry. See South a number of times tonight have started what looks an attacking move in the wide areas, only to then pull it back. Really picking their moments. They've picked this one. They launch it over the top for Walter. Alex Walter against James. Works it in, away by Harrison. Back to Havainen. Deft little pass in there for Darcy Hall. Scrapping away, but again the Knights defence is able to win it back. They've been solid so far.
Certainly putting South, not giving them any channels to play any through balls to. That's one thing Sherman and Pravidi may have picked up doing their homework. As Gorry tries the return ball to Turner. Good strong contest, as you'll always get from the returner, Jack Turner. Throw in on the far side to Hall. Come crunching in is Hallard. Still falls to Hall. He nearly hit it first time. Hits it again, Darcy Hall. That won't trouble the keeper. More likely trouble those in the wet area. Darcy Hall's first shot on goal for the evening.
Yeah, certainly no threat to Dimmy Nesta there. Perhaps a threat to a few schooners in the wet area, though. Those ones bouncing off the back of the shed. Very dangerous areas there for the punters, but I think any issues arising from that particular shot, judged well by those standing behind the goals there, as the veteran gets us restarted. just a foul there on Feral TV. A bit of tunnelling or an elbow perhaps, as Santos pulling that one up. Set piece opportunity for the Glenorchy Knights.
No one in a huge rush to take it.
I don't think so. Nil-all, Knights will be quite content with their start and perhaps have run-out games as we saw against Olympia quite as well. So maybe just leaving a little in the tank. We'll see. Hard chipping this one. It's a poor ball in the end. Makes Naden work for it. Up against his opposite number in Gorry. And Sherman just asking for that one to be hit into the area instead. Which I think was probably the better shout when you got a bull like Nowicki leading the line. Stick it on his head. Speaking of bulls, there's Jack Turner. Off his head for a Knights throw.
Hope those two end up having a challenge of some sort against each other tonight. As Brown miscontrols that one, and now Gorry to Feral TV. He initially thought about going to Walter. In the end, we'll play it back to the keeper. I think it's Walter. Would be a likely option there. Kieran Brown under pressure. In the end, it falls to the Morthog. Havinen beaten out by Cal Griffin again, who's probably been the best on the park in this first 20 minutes. Lays it back to Bellini. Now Naden. The sounds are coming across. Back to El Capitan Harrison, who hits the ball down the wing. Jakey Stewart wanted that one short, and that one will probably roll out harmlessly for a goal kick.
Both teams have looked to play the ball over the top quite a bit, yet all their best moments have been from short, sharp passing combinations, and they've looked to hit feet. My observations through the first half of the first half here. The long ball not really working for either team. Might well work here though, Darcy Hall. Oh, he's onside apparently. He's charged into the box here. The flag might have been raised, but he cuts it back. South with numbers. How will it spill? It's spilled in favour of Jake Stewart, who just tracked back. And dangerous moment there. Hall must have timed his run to perfection because he gained several yards on the defence pretty quickly. And he's pacey, so a chance he did time it to perfection as Gorry to that man Darcy Hall. Gorry. A few starting to line up in the middle. Jack Turner will turn on the ball and then beats George Hallard. Griffin clatters a Falcon off of Turner. Gorry miscontrols, goes back, collects. Nowicki quickly charging him down though. South again just opting to keep possession rather than force the issue in attack. Walter. Farrell. Looked of it by Griffin. Pinballs out in the direction of the 2 threes there. Naden actually picked up by Walter. Kieran Brown to the Archer. Adam Gorry now working it over the top for the run of Alex Walter. Marauding forwards. Jack Turner offering in the middle. He goes further to Gilly to Sousa. Goes back and controls it. Top of the box, lays it off for Morton. Oh, parrying straight back into the path of Turner. But Luke Warner was there, and just a little too handsy, I think, was Warner.
Took an awkward bounce in front of Timmy Nestor, did that shot from Morton. He does love a shot from that angle where he can just wrap his foot around it. And just well, Nestor, maybe even a deflection off Harrison, just off the backside. And he's done well there as the Knights keeper.
I might have sold him a little short there. I thought initially he just kind of parried one straight back out into a dangerous area where you don't want the keeper doing it, but I do think I did take a touch and he did have to make a rather sharp readjustment there. So it'll be interesting when we get these pellets in the penalty area for goalkeepers. There's some real mayhem then.
Right on the penalty spot as well, just to scuff a penalty.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. That's one for future weeks, I think, as DeSouza plays one in behind a Turner. Just overly thrilled with the service there was Jack.
Won't need to do a Nicky G probably with all those pellets on the penalty spot.
Yeah, perhaps not. The visual effect would be spectacular if someone does channel our favourite Canadian. Of course, his compatriot Iski Van Dorn on the bench for South Hobart tonight, if you missed that one. Returning to the NPL Tasmania. I think he's on a holiday visa for 3 months, and then he'll try and get another one if South are there when the whips are cracking at the end of the year. This one's worked forward. Naden
Does that make him a loan signing or is he a permanent signing?
Well, he's not coming for another club, so I think it's just a matter of leaving the country and then coming back in. If it's the same as it is the other way. Certainly that was my experience in the US. Just had to pop out just for an hour or two and come back in.
Jets do have some pretty cheap flights to New Zealand when necessary.
Yeah, pretty sure is it the visa waiver program. Anyway, let's get back on track here as Hallard works this one off. Stratos getting involved. He's initially disrupted what looked a good attack, but it works all right for Knights as they win it back. Naden. Big fan of the long sleeve setup that Declan Brown's rocking this evening. Not enough of the long sleeves in this league. Kudos to him. Here's Nick Naden. Couldn't quite control it. And Oscar Thomas steers that one away.
Just trying to tell if Havinen's also rocking one or if he's got the kind of the skins on underneath. It does look like a long sleeve. As that one falls his long-sleeved compatriot Brown. Sousa clears that one. Assuming that's what instructions James Sherman's giving out down there. I'm sure it's fashion advice. As James will stride forward to take the throw in. Seeing that breeze seems to be swirling around the ground. It's sort of going from left to right as you look at it, but a bit more diagonal. There's pinball going on in there, and eventually Oscar Thomas is sick of that. Alex clear. Harrison and Hallard really clean each other up there. Nervy seconds for the centre-back. Georgie Hallard shows some composure and eventually clears it. We nearly had some teammate-on-teammate action there.
This one's smashed forward by Brown. Turner just misjudged it a little. Hallard beat him to it. Two tough customers there. Did Sammy James absolutely no favours, though, to chase after that one. Havainen closed down by Stewart. They've got a 3-on-4 developing here. Havainen just comes in, and was that not shoulder on shoulder? Took enough of the man. And a free kick in the way of Declan Brown. And Havainen giving his point here. Another good opportunity for Knights, who suddenly, in typical Tasmania fashion, the rain is falling.
Of course.
Absolutely perfect at kick-off, but there was talk of thunderstorms this afternoon.
Well, I was driving back over this way at about 5:10, and I had a dust storm come across me on the nearest highway intersection here, so it's not the weirdest thing I've seen in the last 3 hours.
Genuinely dropped 5 degrees in 2 minutes, I reckon. So, the rain starting to fall. As I said, there was somewhere there could be thunderstorms. We'll keep an eye on that. Hopefully no lightning delays, but for now, it's going to be James over the dead ball. Curls it in to the back post. Turner cleared it only. Straight to Wiki. Deflects onto the post. Oh, chaotic deflection. Took it onto the crossbar. It was off target initially, but that was inches away from opening the scoring for Knights.
That would have been one of the craziest deflections I've ever seen. Bowman was pretty much, had no idea about that. Nowicki's whacked it into him, and Brown had all idea of it. He's on the ground. It's come off his knee onto the junction. That would have been one of the weirder NPL Taz goals you've ever seen. And now Turner, with his blistering pace, he's got Hall on the far side if he wants him. He's giving out instructions. Did not want to pass that with the left foot. Did Turner. Hall to Sousa, goes the 1-2, gets him behind. Darcy Hall centering, ball just can't quite get there to the captain Morton. Oscar Thomas. He's used to these in the draft, used to an African storm that is bucketing down on KGV at the moment.
It is absolutely pouring. It was perfect conditions at kickoff. As we said, a lovely night for football.
God.
But,
the grandstand's about to get even more full, I think.
yeah, it's going to reach a maximum occupancy fairly quickly, I'd have thought, as people will scramble to get up here. And it's really coming down quite hard, and we'll see. I often feel that the KG5 pitch plays a little better with a bit of moisture on it. So,
what about moisture and fresh pellets?
Well, that is going to be one of the great unknowns. Well, that could be anything. Let's just hope everything's all right. As I said, there's a fair bit of testing on that area of the pitch pre-game to make sure it was all safe. And our councilman who was here said that's the safest part of the ground. Far safer than the stuff without the pellets. So, got to trust the man tasked with the job, I suppose, as Nick Morton lofts this one over the top. Only Tyler Harrison there. Morton was expecting one of his wingers might have made a run in there. Harrison with the pitching wedge up there to Jakey Stewart. Luke Farrell. Back. He goes to Kieran Brown. Kears Brown Long in the Walter direction, Luke Warner. That thumping boot of his is able to just kill this one away. One of the hardest strikes in the league, the Glenorchy Knights fullback. When he hits the ball, they stay hit. Here's the Frenchman, Nick Morton. Good ball for Darcy Hall. Played it first time, good ball too. DeSouza rolls it across for Jack Turner. Great save, Timmy Nesta. Denies the cork in the ocean, the opening goal. That's twice he's come up big now in the first half. I think his third save of the match, and that one was his best one, I think.
Good reflexes shown from Nesta again. We saw that with the shot up above. This one on his chest. You weren't tempted as a keeper to sort of premeditate it, but stood up well, and in the end, hit him right in the chest as Bowman. Well, he's heaved clearance, ends up going straight to Morton. Turner calls for offside. Nesta is out anyway. Not sure what the assistant referee would have adjudged there. Had Turner made a play at it, Nowicki.
My gut feel was on.
Yeah, I did think Harrison was a step or two behind Hallard, which might have played him on. As Kieran Brown assesses his options.
This was a dangerous period of the game for the Knights against the Warriors, wasn't it? From 30 minutes to 45 minutes. They undid a lot of the good work they did in the first half hour. So can they stick with South for the full 45? That's going to be the big test for them.
I do think this weather may help them with that situation. Really does. Oh, it's not the bog that KGV used to turn into after some rain. I'm assuming the wind will slightly even out the contest, providing both teams keep it on the deck.
Love the one brave soul who's just sticking to the stand. Everyone else on that side's departed.
Well, I got a photo of our esteemed camerawoman in a similar position at Olympia last week, and I might just go for 2 weeks in a row. It's not having much luck with the weather.
No, I have stitched Linda up a little with some of the destinations we've given her thus far. Check out Solstice Digital for all your NPL Taz and Super League imagery throughout the season. Great run here from Nowicki, sliding through, and it's just going to deflect rather conveniently in the end there for Kieran Brown. Here's the skipper, Nick Morton. The Malt Hog looks up and chips it forward for Jack Turner. Busting along to get there is Turner. First time across on the left. Oh, he kept it in the end, Turner. Can he set up a teammate? He tried to find DeSouza. Great challenge, but it hasn't quite cleared the area. Gorry! Just past the post. Inches in it. South players want a corner. None forthcoming. And that was as close as we've come.
He's not far away there. Adam Gorry just set up nicely for him. It was Turner's run initially. DeSouza maybe had to run around Stratos a little bit there, but Gorry tried to maybe wait for a deflection or just sneak it in the back corner. Again, it's probably been South Hobart with the clearer cut chances here in the first 34 minutes of this match. As we see, all those people who were right behind the goal have escaped to the wet area.
Yeah, they've had the best chances, and they're starting to come with a bit more frequency too here, South. Starting to assert their will. That was a cracking challenge from George Hallard too. Really full-blooded stuff. Didn't want to give DeSouza a high danger chance and just slid in. Quite have the direction on it, but probably may well have saved a goal. Walter to that man DeSouza. Here's Alex Walter again. Playing a little more centrally across to Darcy Hall. Crosses in for Morton, lets it run, almost found its way through to Walter. And Hallard was able to see it away. They're knocking on the door here, South.
It's a good thing Georgie Hallard isn't about 2 shoe sizes smaller, as I don't think he would have stopped that. He's got that by the toes. The deflection and the outstretched leg stops. Certainly a shot on target there from South, if not a certain goal. As James goes back to Harrison, pressured by Walter, so the up and under in the Brown direction. Farrell beats him out. Turner looking for an option early, knocks it around his opposing number. Now to Darcy Hall, who seems to have popped up on the left wing in the last 5 minutes. Turner, 2 Knights for company. Hall goes the little chip ball towards DeSouza. Now back to Farrell. Griffin out to pressure. Morton, Adam Gorry's another good pocket of space here on the far side. Adam Gorry cross towards the back post. Sliding in was Hall. And then sliding in was Jakey Stewart for another corner. Only the 3rd corner of this game, I think, so far.
South dialing up the pressure here.
Actually, it's a goal kick.
In the end has been blown. They're threatening. As the rain pause down at KG5. Timmy Nesta. It's going to be more difficult for the men between the sticks in these conditions that are worsening. Nesta comes it long. Nowicki, a good flick on, but he was the most advanced player, so no one there to run onto it. Bowman now returns fire with a long one of his own, the real long Bowman there. Here's Bellini, the magic man, been quiet so far. They've really clamped down on him. Cal Griffin, impressive, but this one cut out by Gorry. Luke Farrell. Alex Walter. Shut down by Warrener. Walter got a second bite at it. Jack Bowman again. Cross to Oscar Thomas. And the Giraffe goes to Toby Havainen. Look to combine with Darcy Hall here. Continued his run forward. Has Havainen. And Hall slid it out to De Souza. Gilly De Souza bending one from range, and Nesta gets his fingertips on it. He's come up big again, the Knights keeper. And they are under increasing pressure. But their number one is keeping him in this ball game and keeping things level.
What a save from Dimitri Nesta. Outstretched paw. It's a solid fingertip to it to knock it round the post. De Souza is lethal from that 20 to 25 yard range. Oh, he's nearly got another one. As Morton goes to the short corner with Gorry, well intercepted by the Knights. Gorry sliding back in, adjudged to have got the ball. Now Brown, good little turn there from Brown, and it's 2v2 ahead of Jakey Stewart. Went the through ball to Nowicki, but Nowicki wanted it short. I probably think Jakey Stewart has a claim there. I'm not sure why you'd offer short there. And definitely could have tried and got in behind the Giraffe, Oscar Thomas. As Morton now looks for an offside Walter. James' head is clear. And now Lukey Warrener, another one of the Knights players who've come back into the lineup and haven't put a foot wrong so far. Naden trying to play the ball down the line. Now falls to Feral TV. Nowicki comes across and doesn't commit an unnecessary foul. Doesn't even win the throw in as well. Just looking over the stats man's shoulder, it does appear that Knights' only foul of this game has been Nowicki's.
And what a foul.
And what a foul it was.
A hardy one, flicked on by the magic man Bellini to that man Nowicki, trying to score a remarkable lobbed volley from 45 yards. Well, that would have been something. I'd have brought the house down here if he had found a way to get that one over, but quite enough purchase, and Kieran Brown well on his line. Don't mind the intent though, was the archer. Goes to Adam Gorry. Luke Farrell outside of the boot. Warrener steps up to intercept. Nowicki now can't gather it. De Souza. Going to play for... Initially it was a South Hobart throw. Stratos overruling there, and it will go the way of the Knights. Just have a look at Nowicki trying to conjure a little magic and pitch rather awkwardly for the keeper. That could have been a real red-faced moment there if it had kicked up a little bit more on Kieran Brown there.
We've seen goals scored from some distance here at KGV over the years, and Nowicki aiming another one to that list as Gorry knocks the second one into the creek for the evening.
If he tried that at like a Kelvin Park in mid-July,
yeah.
That's more the time of year when that shot could well work.
Yeah, the time where you don't really want the ball on the deck.
But KG5, a tough pitch to pull that one off on Nowicki. So we've got 5 minutes or so left before the half. Who do you think is going to be the happier team heading into the sheds here, Paul?
I certainly think Glenorchy Knights will be happier, just for what we were talking about before. They've played a lot more consistently over this first half, and we saw in that game against Olympia a few weeks ago, it was 30 to 35 strong minutes and then tended to fade it away, whereas I certainly don't think they've done that in this half. They haven't created a huge amount of clear-cut chances, but they have looked threatening in situations such as this. Stewart down the line trying to get past the long legs of the Giraffe, and just about does here into the near post, but Kieran Brown managed to collect with an impending Nowicki ready to head that one home.
Just had to pick him out. He was all on his lonesome. Stewart had time and space, and he put it straight to the keeper's hands. Big opportunity goes begging there for Knights, I reckon.
And good pressure again. That's what I've liked about this Knights side. Brown really getting on De Souza there as Nicky Stewart got behind him. Maybe just the presence of Bowman cut off the angle, so he tried to slide it between the two. Again, I'm probably being a bit generous.
Very need to go behind him. I don't know why you try and between the two, but he did ever so well in the build-up too, Stuart. It was a powerful run. Beat Oscar Thomas all ends up, and that's not something I've had to say very often down the years commentating South Hobart games. He's one of the better defenders going around, and Stewart had him beat there. But the chance goes begging for the Knights. And as you say, they've had their moments in attack. South probably feel like they should be in front on the balance of play, but Knights have shown enough to just suggest if South don't start taking any of these chances they've created, they may well be made to rue that. Vainan. Now Brown. Declan Brown looking to run at the defence. Haven't seen a lot of that so far tonight. Luke Farrell doing a pretty good job negating his influence so far. The Frenchman sitting in front of his defence and has stifled the talisman of the Knights so far. 3.5 to play here. Naden against Gorry, who charges back and does pretty well in the end. Kieran Brown away. Straight though to Bellini. Sandro Bellini trying to unlock the defence with his clever dribbling moves, and he's done well here, Bellini. Beat two, couldn't beat the third though. Well done, Jack Bowman. The Archer came in after he got the better of Morton and Gorry. Took the hold of the ball well here, Knights. Warren up, put the cross, deflected into the path of Naden. Back to Bellini. Declan Brown. It's a poor ball from Brown. And finds Stewart.
Enjoyed Lukey Warren's ambitious shout for a handball there. He just fired it into Alex Walker from about 3 yards away. Turnover here, Nowicki. Tries to get past De Souza, looking for an option. And it's going to be fall to Havainen. Tried to pick out Turner, only finds Cal Griffin. Tries to weave himself away and manages to win the foul there. He sort of did a step over upon himself when he didn't really need to. He did just enough to get his body in the way for Turner to commit the foul.
I thought he just lost his balance a little there. Some of those contact that led to it.
Kind of like he was doing a figure eight over himself.
I'm not sure if Turner did clip the back leg or whether he just kind of lost his footing there. I'm entirely sure, but Turner might have clipped a little bit either way. A set piece opportunity for Samuel James again. Nowicki up against Oscar Thomas, perhaps going to be where he heads with this one. He swings it to the back post. Jake Stewart was the man who rose and had a fair look at it, but couldn't quite make the contact he was after.
Probably wanted that to fall to someone that just a tad taller than Stewart. He got in a good pocket of space there. South opting for the zonal setup from that set piece. And just managed to get between the two players, did Stewart. Another half chance for the Knights. See the Archer, Jack Bowman. Exchange passes with his keeper. I think he's looking for Gorry down that sideline. It just wasn't opening up. So in the end, Brown heaves it clear. Warrener he's really trying to keep the ball down. He gets in front of Bowman. Can he keep it in play? And he does. Bowman just about concedes a throw in and does. Touch and go as to whether it was a corner. It was a long look from Stratus across to his assistant referee. Warrener will stay forward for the throw. Griffin wanted it. Beaten out by Feral TV. And now Turner to Walter. And he come crunching in. Well, the ball initially, but there was a lot of player after that from Georgie Hallard.
Second slice of cheese of the game. Hallard joining Nowicki in the book. They're working very similar parts of the field. Both nearly unnecessary, you'd have to say. I mean, Walter's in some trouble here too. Hasn't got back to his feet. He got absolutely crunched. But yeah, they've conceded both the yellows in fairly threatless positions. It's been strange decision making. They're both two players who really like to physically impose themselves on the contest, but I think there is a time and a place for it. And hopefully Alex Walter's all right, because he looks in some trouble here, and we might get an early look perhaps than we expected at Iski Van Dorn.
Yeah, we'll probably wait for half time to assess him. There was a tiny bit of ball there to start with, but Hallard got plenty of Alex Walter in the end. He is back to his feet, the South Hobart striker, which is a good sign. Be interesting to see him. They just hold down to 10 players as we are into stoppage time. No use of the electronic board here, so I'll guess a minute at most.
I don't think there'll be much.
As Gorry leaves that one forward, falls to Farrell. Nowicki coming back to claim. Bellini wants to play a through ball. Look, Farrell read that one like a book. Lays in Jack Turner, sliding in again. Doesn't quite beat it. It's Jack Turner in on goal, and again Nesta comes up strong. Jack Turner has hit 3 shots straight at Dimitri Nesta tonight.
Yeah, another good save there from Jimmy Nesta. Turner just getting the better of his marker there. Opted to shoot from the angle, and Nesta did well to get across that one. Only slightly away from the body, but Nesta was well positioned to keep Jack Turner out, as he has done throughout the first half here. He's probably been the best on the pitch. I think Cal Griffin and George Hallard have been up there for Knights. South Hobart really enjoyed Gilly DeSouza's game in midfield. It's probably the best 45 minutes I've seen him play this season. And look, South, they've had the better of the contest. They've had some lovely moments in attack, but they've just not quite been able to place these shots. They're leaving the door ajar for a Knights team who've shown they do have a threat going the other way. Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see what South Hobart do at half-time. There'll be a slight temptation to change things up, but I do think just a calming word from Ken Morton to keep at it as we have a look at the highlights. And I got a break from that to look at what is arguably the highlight of the first half. Just the absolute most unnecessary challenge I've seen all season there from Matt Nowicki.
Brought the game to life, Paul.
I think we just need that on loop for all of half-time, I think. But yeah, I'm expecting South to come out with a little more pace, a little more urgency, and it'll be up to Knights to play out the second half, which they didn't do against Olympia, but they have looked a bit stronger here tonight. There you go.
I just think it's a matter they've got to start taking their chances. They don't really need to change anything, South. They've created plenty. They've just not finished. And that's the story of it, really. Jimmy Nesta's been good. And ultimately, they need to start taking these chances. So we'll leave you now and be back in around about 10 minutes or so with the second half here at KG5. A game very much in the balance. It's Glenorchy Knights 0, South Hobart 0. Great challenge, but it hasn't quite cleared the area. Gorry just has Havainen. Hall slid it out to DeSouza. Gilly DeSouza bending one from range, and Nesta gets his fingertips.
Such as this, Stewart down the line trying to get past the long legs of the giraffe, and just about does here into the near post, but Kieran Brown managed to...
Oscar Thomas, perhaps where he heads with this one. He swings it to the back post. Jake Stewart was the man who rose and had a fair look.
And now Turner to Walter, and they come crunching in. Well, the ball initially, but there was a lot of player after that. Through ball, look, Farrell read that one like a book. Lays in Jack Turner, sliding in again. Doesn't quite beat it, it's Jack Turner in on goal, and again Nesta comes up strong.
Yeah, honestly. Except if it's raining like this, I can't. There's not much shelter. Maybe the parents wanted to go again. Sorry. A bit hard that chair.
Well, Northern Knights would just like to thank our major sponsors who helped us out through the year, obviously. KGV Football Park at 21 Charles Street offers a wide range of home appliances, dining, lounge, fitting furniture. Plenty of free parking at the match, so you can shop at your own pace. Best Australian-made furniture on display, huge showrooms, trusted international brands to be able to make the right choice for your home. Need any help with real estate, think of Dallas Joyner and Tony Bassett from Roberts Real Estate. Over 35 years experience in residential property, land development, project management. Give them a call on 0419 304 947 or 0430 726032. Wonderful wardrobe screens, custom manufacturing store wide range of products including wardrobe, internal wardrobe doors, range of complementary furniture including shelving units, freestanding drawers, bedside tables, home office furniture. Also include custom-made shower screens, mirrors, balustrades, splashbacks using glass and aluminium. Tommy Hoover Saloon is the name of contact. We'll have the opportunity to provide a free measuring at a competitive price for you. And the Coffee Club in Northgate. Great place, great service, excellent coffee, welcome.
Had more chances. But Knights have had a few good moments. If South they start taking them, they are really inviting danger because Knights have looked good for a goal. Should be a cracking second half here. South perhaps will be aided by a little bit of breeze factor here as we're ready to get underway. Jack Turner will get us kicked off, but 3 big points up for grabs here this evening. Knights looking to get a result against one of the contenders for the first time. And South Hobart looking to continue their pursuit of the Devonport Strikers, who have looked the team to beat so far this season. We're just about ready to go, and here we are underway. Nick Morton had a pretty good first half. He'll look to break the game open in the second. Dimmy Nestor, fantastic in net for the Knights. He's made 4 or 5 saves, a couple of really big ones in there. We've kept this game level. South, I think it'll be more of the same from them. Just need to start finishing. Here's the Knights on the attack early. Jake Stewart looking to charge to the byline again. Havainen defended that well. Behind for a corner. Can't see any personnel changes that may have taken place. So I think we're unchanged for the second stanza here.
If so, they probably deserve a slice of cheese for not doing it officially.
Yep.
And I'm expecting goals in this second half. Rare you get either a draw or especially a 0-0 draw in NPL Taz, and I do think both sides have got goals in them as Knights will look to take the corner. We saw Gorrie have some difficulty with the wind from this side. We'll see how we go from this one. It's in a similar direction to Souser. Bobbling ball control. Good flick up in the air, but that's going to get a bit too much purchase on it there. I think that was Bellini trying to use those futsal skills to dink that one somewhere towards the goal.
Keeper well back on his line, but another audacious attempt as a few hijinks perhaps going on there, just delaying the return of the ball back to Kieran Brown, who sends it across to the Archer. Bowman to Gorrie. Shift forward for Toby Havainen. It's an aimless ball. I think was expecting his winger Alex Wolf to be there, but he'd taken up a fairly central striking position, so well at home. And it was another blind pass in the end from the youngster. Tyler Harrison dumps that one away, nodded down by Farrell. George Hallard played a great first half, apart from a fairly needless slice of cheese he picked up late. Nowicki in a real wrestling match with Oscar Thomas, but just engaged him and held him long enough, Thomas, to allow Morton in. And the ball worked forward. Warrener heads it to Griffin. Naden chasing down this one, hustling away up against Gorrie and lets it run for the throw. Drops it in for Declan Brown. South done a very good job on Declan Brown so far this evening. He's only really flashed on a couple of occasions. Quick throw taken here for Turner. Hasn't got a lot of support. He's only got Darcy Hall, so he's got to go himself a little bit. Did very well in that regard, Jack Turner. In the end, the nice defence. Able to see it away. Offside here is Nowicki. That will nip that attack in the bud.
Yeah, well, Turner did pretty well there with not a whole lot of support initially and nearly got the ball back to Morton in that area he absolutely loves. Just on the tee. There's Bowman. Aiming for the long ball down the channel. Finds the head of Walter, who'll try and keep it in. Does so as well. Plays it back to De Souza. Centering ball to the feet of Turner. Back to Morton. First time shot. Nesta. Save again. Morton again sliding in. Probably a goal kick here. I think he got the last touch. Dimitri Nesta. What's that? 5 times.
Well, I think we're headed for our second Team of the Week selection for a Knights keeper. Lockie Hart, great last week at Buckby Land Rover Park. Jimmy Nesta, even better here tonight. Another top draw save from the Glenorchy Gloveman. His goal has really come under siege as the game has worn on, but he is holding strong. Some really good depth in between the sticks this year, Knights. Alex Woodham on the bench tonight. You've got the Rossignol's played. Hart's been good. It's not often you see 4 keepers used in the opening month of the season. Albeit only on the bench in Woodham's case, is a roll out of play, but good luck taking Jimmy Nesta out of this side tonight.
I feel sorry for all the social players who have to play Div 1 against probably one of those keepers. they're going to keep a clean sheet in that competition. Well, season as Hayden picks that one out, short ball, but Morton couldn't quite get there. Hayden's looked up. He's on the very far side. Eventually gets Griffin. Gorry trying to go against Griffin's shirt pull. Nice South Hobart's favourite ranger.
Very obvious, wasn't it?
I was hoping the blind side didn't quite work in his favour there, but it's right in front of the referee.
Right under his nose. Quickly taken Samuel James, and they're going to get another crack at it, I think, Knights, for taking it a bit too quickly, and it'll work out all right for them because they'd coughed it up.
Ball moving is the signal from Stratos as Brown. Trying to jink around for Raal. Again, good work there from the Frenchman as Gorry aims for Turner. Soft touch to Morton. Went the outside of the right, I think that was meant to be, but Havainen will give chase. James knocked that one into touch, into the Nowicki Hallard area. Interesting first touch there from Walter. Gets it down. Feral TV. Out to Gorry. Down the line to Darcy Hall. 5 last week against Clarence. Has been a little more subdued here this evening so far.
A lot less time and space to operate in. As Jack Turner presents well at that one. Works it to Darcy Hall. Curls it in. Dangerous looking ball, but heavy touch allows Hallard to thump it away. Nowicki up against Oscar Thomas in another duel, and Nowicki looks to take him on the outside for pace here. The rampaging ball, Nowicki. As Thomas infringed their flags raised. It's gone the other way against Nowicki. Great duel, that one. A physical battle as Nowicki looked to do him for pace. Thomas going stride for stride here. And yeah, good decision in the end. Arm over the shoulder, fairly clear.
Yeah, the armbar will do that. Good reflex save there from Kieran Brown as well. Hasn't really had a lot to do. Nowicki, well, that's probably rust coming out there from Kieran Brown, just knocking that one straight out on the bounds on the full. But yeah, Nowicki v Thomas has been the matchup of the game so far. The Giraffe coming out strong there.
He's handled it pretty well in the wrestling matches, and Nowicki just changed it up there and said, all right, let's have a sprint instead. I don't think he was expecting it. Really his usual move, Nowicki, but well defended Oscar Thomas in the end, took the points in that one.
There's James will stride forward to take the throw in. Oscar Thomas getting away from his marker very easily to knock that one clear. Turner against Harrison. He's judged it temporarily, did Harrison, but he'll get the throw for the Knights. So the rain continues to bucket down here. Through ball in the Nowicki direction. In between Gorry and Bowman hits it. Oh, Nowicki on the volley. Just volleyed it to himself there on the left to hit with the right in between 2 players, but it falls harmlessly wide.
Great touch to set up the volley and just couldn't quite execute it, but not bad effort there from Nowicki, who just continues to make things happen there. There's the big fella. Bowman thumps it long. Turner's timed his run pretty well here. Tried a little glancing header for Hall, didn't quite come off. Away by Tyler Harrison. Loic Farrell down to the Brazilian Gilly de Souza. Strokes one through for Adam Gorry. Gorry puts it on a platter for Hall. At the back post, it's Alex Walter tapping home to give South Hobart the lead. A deserved goal. They finally break through. And at the back stick, it's Walter who delivers.
There's a kind of goal Coach Ken Morton really loves his team to score. Through ball the channel. Adam Gorry, the bombing on fullback, inches away from the near post, but striding in is Alex Walter. And comfortable finish there at the back post for the strikers. South have been knocking all game. They've probably fully deserved their 1-0 lead here in the second half. Great run by Adam Gorry. First time we've really seen him get behind Warriner, I'd say, in this game.
Yeah, and a lovely little pass to pick him out by Gilly de Souza too. Just perfectly weighted, puts the ball in.
The Knights now will look to rebuild. Bellini. Good touch. Back towards Bellini. Send across that one to James. Now Griffin gets a toe in. Loic Farrell with the chip through ball in the Hall direction. Uses his body well against Warriner. Hallard battling with Turner. Turner ends up with it. Looks to play in Gorry. He's really bombing on this second half. Near ball. Oh, nearly in at the back post as well as Walter. Well, Nick Morton this time striding into the centre. Now Hall. I'm going to assume that's a head injury for Tyler Harrison. Just in my pole in the way there temporarily.
Stay down, I must say, the pole isn't the most convenient of locations for us there, so we might need to consult the replay on that one, but they stayed down here, the Knights centre back. We might have another look here as Gorry looked it in. Just kind of crumbled at the end. I didn't notice any contact that would have caused it, but that's a worrying sign, and Stratos is indicating to the bench that a sub's going to be needed here, perhaps.
Well, it was already a sub standing in that position before Harrison went down. I'll see if that causes any changes for Coach Sherman Tank. I think that's Lockie Hardwick coming on. Yes, it is. He's nominally a defender.
What is Harrison done? Perhaps that's a reoccurrence of the injury that kept him out in previous weeks. As soon as it happened, he just kind of pulled up to the stop and went, no, that's me done. So a big blow for Knights as their horrible run with injuries just continues here. Hardwick, a good young option to come off the bench in defence, but I've seen more of him at fullback as opposed to centre half. He looks like he's slotting in alongside of George Hallard for now, though.
Yeah, really going through centre backs are the Knights so far this season. Good, they've had a versatile bench. Lockie Hardwick, a little bit of NPL experience in the past. There's Thomas. It's now all on the Knights to press South Hobart. They'll be content in keeping possession. Will South, Thomas, Pavinen. They just seem to be sloppy still early in this second half.
South do take the points tonight and set up a huge game with Devonport. And they, mate, that's going to be a big one. I think next Sunday that fixture. I imagine Devonport will take care of business tomorrow, and should be a top of the table battle perhaps between the two. We'll see how the results fall this weekend, but that's going to be a huge game. And the Strikers travelling down to Darcy Street, and really looking forward to the first match-up between those two this year. South on that remarkable run last season, but just couldn't quite haul the Strikers in after their sharp start.
Memories of that Braden Mann bicycle kick still firmly etched in my mind.
Indeed, as Darcy Hall looking to get between a couple here. George Hallard's been really good tonight and dealt with that very nicely. Whacks it long for Nowicki, gives him something to chase. Just put it to the right side. Nowicki's got the better of Oscar Thomas here, and then strikes it through. Nick Naden in the middle. It was just under hit to him though. Declan Brown turning, one back by Loic Farrell, who's just been classy as ever, the defensive midfielder this evening. Plenty of good work. Jack Turner will test Hardwick. Oh, he got the better of Hallard and then took a monstrously heavy touch with the goal seemingly beckoning. And let off the hook there by Jack Turner.
Yeah, just need a little more composure there. Did Jack Turner. He did well to battle with Hallard and win it as Bellini gets around Morton. Can't get around the Archer. And Bowman slices a pass out to Hall. Wanted Turner to come short for the 1-2. Warren had good position there. There's offside there from Morton. Harrison, we think that is probably a redoing of his existing injury rather than something new. Offside, the call that's been given.
Seeing Ben Hamlet doing some run-throughs on the sideline. With first sight of the Canadian. So Hamlet might be set to be introduced. Let's just go on into the change rooms for a second. To be limbering up, so change perhaps coming for Ken Morton as Adam Gorry beaten to it by Nowicki. Use of the body, a little nutmeg there on Bellini, but he'll get the ball back. The Magic Man gave it to Griffin, and that's straight into the back of Nick Naden. Bowman saying he milked it, but he gave him every opportunity to do so by just clattering into him.
Sherman really wanted a free kick on Nowicki as well. With Gorry's initial foul, but that's a fair foul there from Jack Bowman. And Bellini and Brown over this dead ball situation. Knights could probably use a foul from someone, not Nowicki or Hallard, just to spark them into life in this second half.
It was the recipe in the first half, wasn't it? What can the Magic Man do here? Can he wave his wand and get them back on terms? He swings this well over the head of the keeper. I don't know if that was overhit or he was trying to have a shot.
He put his head down immediately, did Bellini, his head in his hands. Yep. Before the ball had even hit the 6-yard line.
Who's after, that's for sure, and capable of far better of the set piece. Speaking of capable over the set piece, will we see the Sherman tank rolled out late in this one? He's one of the better free kick takers in the state, or certainly was last time I saw him take one, which was a while back now, to be fair.
No, I'd still class him in that category as well. Just insert himself 85th minute to draw, wait for a free kick, bang.
Sherman tank.
Wouldn't be a bad tactic to initiate, but we'll see if they can do it. From open play, that ball's just about whacked into the South Hobart defender. Griffin can't quite get a hold of it. Sounds like clears it away towards his side's bench. Ken Morton being very animated here this evening, clearly taking inspiration from his new assistant, Dogger Brown. Warrener to Naden. Naden knocks it past Gorry, tries to get around the defender, and that's surely a foul. And a slice of cheddar there for Adam Gorry. And it's 2 fouls in a minute. That one probably was impeding a good attacking opportunity.
Yeah, professional foul there from Gorry. Probably the right option, given the current state of the game. Stopping to take his man down. Have another look at the replay here. Clever stuff from Nick Naden, just beating him there. In hindsight, probably not necessary. Bowman and Luke Farrell were very well positioned, so a bit unnecessary, in fact, from Adam Gorry. Not sure he really needed to be doing that. Just got beaten by Naden and brought him down in retribution. Here is the impressive Callan Griffin. Ships this one in. Gorry steers it away. George Hallard with a great attack on the ball. He got there, and then that was a little more less impressive, let's say, from Hallard. It was a storming run to intercept, but just let himself down at the end with a fairly tepid effort.
Sometimes the adrenaline gets pumping in these centre-backs who stride forward and get within 40 yards, and that's considered goal-scoring territory for centre-backs. Georgie Hallard, not the best attempt.
Maybe not on the left.
Yeah, or maybe just not from that far out, full stop. And that's on the left a little short. Wants to heave that one clear under pressure by Brown. Nesta probably play this back to his fullback James, and does. And a huge amount of options inside. Bellini is one, under pressure from Morton. Hits the feet of James. Now Bellini still going Here's the magic man. Griffin turns well as a player. Down on the right-hand side, it's Stewart against DeSouza. 2 in the box for Jakey Stewart. Bellini. Brown. Now Naden. Good attacking build-up here. That looping deflected shot there from Nick Naden will fall greatly into the arms of Brown. Howard again.
Oh, he's in trouble.
He's in very much trouble
He's
here.
in big trouble.
Howard right over the back. Now pushing him in the back.
He's
A
about
little
to
bit
go
of
off.
handbags here, but I reckon a slice of tomato is imminent from Stratos Blomaridis, and there it is. A slice of tomato for Georgie Hallard. Strong, 2 very, very strong challenges from the centre back, and the Knights are down to 10.
So we'll have a look at the replay. He's particularly happy with the decision of Blomaridis. He's the Englishman. We'll have another look at live vision. It looked fairly reckless, but we'll see. This one was just heaved up quickly. He attacked in and just came over the back. Turner dropping down and just rolled over the top of him.
You can't do that.
Just led with the boot and got the leg straight to the back, and a slice of cheese for Jack Turner as well, presumably for a few afters there, or is it for Callan Griffin?
Well, the odds would be on Jack Turner, but we'll wait to see if Stratos gives us any more hints.
And he's going away for now, so, well, a mountain to climb now for Knights. They're down a goal and down a man, and down both their starting centre-backs from this evening, so a real readjustment being forced at the back. Looked like Samuel James has slid in there with Lockie Hardwick and Adam Gorry. South have the centre blood in their nostrils here. Gorry puts the cross in, Turner couldn't connect. A Vainen, great piece of shot blocking there by Jakey Stewart. Copped it right on the head. Tough one, he wore it on the face, but pretty good hit from Vainen, so an important block. Ooh. And South on the attack again here. Alex Walter, Jack Turner, Timmy Nestor diving out in front of him to collect. And one gets the sense he's going to be a busy man in these last 25 minutes.
I was just scouring the Knights substitutes bench to see if they had any other options, but they've used their defender who's on the bench, Lockie Hardwick, and the keeper, Woodham, the Sherman tank himself, who'd probably only play centre mid or defensive mid at best, and then you've got the wing play of Aaron Marnie and Roland DJ Heggie. Not real defenders amongst that lot. There's Nestor. Heavy touch, but gets away from Walter and then knocks one straight out of play. And it's going to be a tough old last 25 minutes here for the Knights as Hall plays a nice through ball to DeSouza. DeSouza inside the box to the back post, and I think that's Jack Turner who's got just in front of the keeper in his marker to make it 2-0.
Well, if Georgie Hallard wasn't happy 2 minutes ago, he's going to be absolutely steaming now as the man he was involved with there gets the goal to punish them and probably put this game to bed at 2-0 with 25 to play and an extra man. It would be an almighty comeback here. Great little ball that from Darcy Hall. Gilly DeSouza puts it in, and from the box, just bundling it home. The definition of bundling it home there, Jack Turner. And that's what he does, the cork in the ocean. You can make a fair compilation of goals he scored in that manner down the past few years. He just gets in the 6-yard box, and time after time he's on hand to put it home, and he may well have put South in the box seat for 3 points here. Hard to see them not winning it, and it's going to take some real fight from Knights, and indeed I think the concern here is for Knights that South run up the score and really look to drive it home. It's a tiring 10 men. They're going to need to be sharp at the back because the signs of the last 10 minutes have not been great.
Devonport will be hoping that Knights keep it pretty solid in the back, and goal difference could be coming a thing even this early in the season. It's Hall tried to play this through ball down the centre. Bowman looked for DeSouza, but it comes off the Knights player for a throw in. Knights want to make another sub. DJ Heggie looking to come on. Probably just fresh legs here for the Knights. And indeed it is. Winger Jakey Stewart coming off.
Yeah, some fresh legs, maybe slightly a bit more defensive now, despite the fact he is rocking the number 9, Rowan Heggie. I've seen him play in defence before, but I think he'll just sit up top and give him another target there, and then Naden will probably drop back into defence, I guess. He's played centre-back and full-back for Clarence in the past, so really capable in that role. He's a real makeshift defensive unit for Knights now, already undermanned heading into this game. Tyler Harrison gets injured. George Hallard gets sent off. Life being made very difficult for the Knights. They've just not really been able to take a trick so far on their returns to the NPL TAS.
They're getting pretty unlucky here, the Knights. There's not a lot you can do about some of it. They had a really good 35 against Olympia. They had a pretty good 45 here, so that's maybe the one positive you could take, but since they've come out of the sheds, they've not really had the best of times as Darcy Hall looks down the sidelines. A good ball looking for Walter. And that one will roll out for a throw-in on the far side. Lockie Hardwick. After Georgie Hallard going off, James has moved to centre-back, and Hardwick out to a more traditional position of his at right-back. Now to the Magic Man, Bellini. High ball kept under spell by Turner. Back to Griffin. Morton challenging strongly on the Knights midfielder. And it's an errant ball from Hardwick. Oh, look at all the space here for Darcy Hall. He's got an acre here on the right-hand side. Shoots again at Nesta. Rebound. Scoops up in the air. And he's taken an air swing there as Griffin. But Stranos will bail him out by pulling up a foul. But look at the space for Darcy Hall.
Again, just the shot just a bit too central. And Nesta, it's been fantastic, but they've certainly shot straight at him a few occasions tonight, South Hobart, where we're testing him a little bit more. Certainly he's answered the bell every time he's been asked. It's Declan Brown. Rid of it by Gilly de Souza. Dwells on it, then tried the little nutmeg and ricocheted back off of the Brazilian, and it'll be a Knights throw, so didn't quite get what he was after. And Cal Brown lets him know about that as Rowan Heggie just clean misses the flick on. Here's Jack Bowman. Long to Jack Turner. The Jacks combining, and he's looming large over this contest now is Turner. To fill his boots as he swings this one across to Walter. He's got Havainen in support. Lovely little ball to pick him out. Gets the better of Naden. It's Toby Havainen. And again, Dimmy Nesta comes up with the save and turns it behind for the corner.
Another good save there from Nesta. Havainen chinking inside Naden. And getting down well there is Nesta, the more traditional approach. As the corner's taken quickly. Walter trying to play it centrally. Griffin clears that one as far as Declan Brown to the feet of Nowicki. Heggie here's in a good amount of space. Brown's coming out. It'll skid on the wet pitch, and DJ Heggie quite got the wheels to chase that one down. Morton controls it well. And gets a late one there. That's going to be pulled back for a slice of cheese. In fact, he's just going to dish it out right now. Here's Stratos. Four yellow cards here. Meaty challenges from the Knights tonight.
Very meaty. There's some shouts for an advantage there as charging into space was Adam Gorry, and a fair bit of room out on the right there, but immediately brought back. As very tough challenge indeed as we look at Morton here shooting the ball and late.
Yeah, fair shout for advantage with Adam Gorry in a good pocket of space there.
I'm sure he was particularly thrilled he wasn't allowed to continue his run as Declan Brown looks to make one, but shows too much of it to Oscar Thomas, and the Giraffe smashes that one away. Timmy Nesta. Well, he's done his all in net tonight. He's been magnificent for the Knights. Hobart may well have scored more than two if not for him as Jack Turner. He's timed his run well here. Timmy Nesta again was good, but Morton tries to catch him out. And just directed that horribly wide in the end. And Nesta is in no man's land, unable to punish him.
I wish you can raise a cheeky smile when you're 2-0 up, but Morton, if someone of his repute, you'd probably fancy him to get it a bit closer on target there.
This one from a bit closer last week, mind you. Got 2 yards out, I think. So, mixed bag for the Morthog last week.
Well, if you're going to miss a more obvious one, last week was probably the week to do it.
Yeah, probably not a bad week to save your bullets. As this one's long, the Sousa over the top. Cal Griffin has faded a little bit. Very good return from him, and he's going to have to pull out a full 90 minutes tonight, I think, with substitutions being made. Probably wasn't their plan initially, I wouldn't have thought. He's a good contributor in the middle tonight for the Knights, especially in the first 20 minutes or so. It was really lively and good signs there for Glenorchy moving forwards.
I don't think it was in Sherman's original game plan for him to play the full 90, or at least you don't see people or players usually just throw in a full 90. It's only really Jack Turner that I've seen that comes in out of nowhere and does that, but Sherman is looking well comfortable in his hooded puffer jacket, and I haven't seen Aaron Marnie doing too many warm-ups, so...
Jack Turner reminds me of the old grade cricketer types. Rock up come week 1 of the season and bang, suddenly straight to the team and doing well. So you don't see him over the pre-season. He doesn't do pre-season, Jack Turner. Doesn't need to. Just rocks up when the hour is called. Hell, last year, so just rocked it halfway through the season. Well, the year before, rather, I think that was, and he turned up at about round 10.
Yeah, it was about round 10.
Made the team of the year from that. So that's just Jack Turner and the way he operates. Slightly different to most, it's fair to say. But look, his physical conditioning cannot be questioned. He's in better shape than most of the players. This is Darcy Hall. Rolls that one to Adam Gorry. Gorry might pick out Turner. Oh, went slightly further afield instead. Sliding into the back post. Vanen, was it? Alex Walter. Unable to direct it home for his second.
Just hit a little bit too far in front. I think it was Turner the more wide open of the options, but you could just tell the difference in the running there. I think it was Brown's job to close down Gorry, and he was about 30 yards away. And Gorry probably got the best engine in the NPL Taz. I'm not sure he was sophisticated enough for kilometres covered, because I reckon he'd be up there. Heggie beaten out by the long legs of Oscar Thomas, and now Hall gets in behind again. Darcy Hall, will he go himself or will he size up a teammate? Elects to go to Turno, hits it real over the bar. Well, we talked about Morton saving his bullets, maybe Turner's doing the same.
Yeah, glorious chance this. Darcy Hall showed great composure, puts it in there, bobble a little on him, but you expect Turner to do better than that, and Darcy Hall is finding more and more space here. The Knights are playing a fairly narrow kind of 4-3-2 since they've gone down to 10, and that is leaving a lot of room out wide for Darcy Hall to run a tiring Luke Warner, who's having to cover more space and more players. So Knights haven't given it up. They're still going to chase this one whilst it remains 2-0, which means there will be room, but they might get one back here through Naden. Oh, it was inches wide. It was well crafted, a bullet header, and just grazes the post. That's a fantastic ball. Misjudged by Oscar Thomas. Shot goal side of Havanen. And Nick Naden can't believe he hasn't scored there.
That was spinning in towards the goal, as well as we saw Jack Turner might be the one to make way. And he is. Ben Hamlet coming on in his place. A like-for-like swap there. But Nick Naden really could have caused a few nervy moments. That one had just rolled into the bottom corner.
It's a great amount of purchase on his headers, Nick Naden. We've seen this a few times down the years, just bullet headers from distance. He proficient in the air, charged onto that one beautifully.
Certainly did, as Hall tried to get him behind, but started from an offside position. I think Knights be just trying to keep possession a tad more, as I think South are going to come at them 4v4 across the back for the rest of this game, as the free kick's taken short by Warriner. And to Bellini. And Brown, he needs to try and switch it here under considerable South pressure, but manages to win a throw. Bellini gets in front of Hall. Farrell does very well to win the ball. Morton trying to get it down the byline, but good challenge by the Knights defender. Brown is thoroughly confused by that goal. Back to Gorry. South will look to keep possession for most of this last 14 minutes. Naden manages to nip in. Be interesting to see what Morton does with his substitutes. Van Dorn and the young Tay Evans likely to come on at some point, you would think, especially with the big game against Devonport next week, just resting anyone who might have niggles. Hamlet gets it to Walter. He wants it back here, Ben Hamlet. First shot on goal, off the post. Double deflection. Who's he given it? No, he hasn't. South Hobart screaming for the non-existent VAR.
Well, Tony Peart was in the perfect position on the line there and immediately said no. I would love some goal line tech here. We are ready to fill that role. Play continues. Nesta again. He's come off huge in there tonight, this man. Another big save. That's a stunning reaction stop. Well, let's just roll it back to Hamlet. Rattling the crossbar. Did this cross or not? As I said, Tony was in perfect position on the line. Let's have a look. Great work from Hamlet. Comes down.
No.
And I reckon that is the correct decision.
Yep, I don't think that's gone in.
That has not gone in. It's bounced back into the bar. Well officiated in the end.
Of course.
And then Nester's second save was outstanding. Corner taken to the back post. De Souza nods it back in. Thomas might get a leg to it. Away by James. Heggie held it up well. Nice hold-up play there from a man who resembles Olivier Giroud, and his movement there resembled him too. Charging onto this one was Bowman, and Warner shuts that down. If we get another look at that Nesta save, I'd love to have a look at that one.
Would as well, and of course, Vicky Morton, who often has a camera in her hand at most games, is behind the goal and doesn't quite have one today. She'd had a better view than nearly anyone. Hamlet, as you can tell, really wanting that one back. It's this initial shot. It's come down. And to me, it's a little hard to tell on that one. It's Bellini showing a nice bit of skill. Back to Griffin. Now Brownie tried to get it to Naden, but Farrell knew what he was doing. Stranos said he got a bit too much player there for his liking. And he had any more thoughts on that goal, Colin?
I don't think that view is going to tell you much definitive, to be honest. I mean, I don't think the whole ball crossed the line from my look there, but I think you've got to just trust that the ref's in a better position than we are, looking straight down across the line. I mean, it's the spin factors. Was there enough backspin on it to take it back into the post? We have another look at it. Timmy Nesta might have just got a fingertip to poke that onto the bar too, and yeah, that's the bit. Back in, hits the crossbar. It was the initial bounce. The second one's obviously fine. And then Nesta makes a really good follow-up save here as play continued. Or we might get another look at that second save that came just after that if we can. And here it is. Pulls it back in and bang. It's the
probably
glove
his best one. It's nearly his best one of the night. I mean, the one from Morton initially in the first half, outstretched, was great, but that one was it with some venom. As back to live play, South Hobart are making a sub. And it is Gilly De Souza hobbling off under his own steam, but a little gingerly. I'm going to take a wild stab and say no, it's Tay Evans coming on.
Oh, it was Foley.
Well, actually, no, that's definitely Declan Foley.
That looks like a Foley to me.
The only substitute I wasn't mentally thinking of then was the former Knights superstar, Declan Foley, made the move over the summer.
A 15-year-old, not a number 15, is Tay Evans. Foley, he'd be a giant 15-year-old if that was him.
That's why I was hesitating.
Yes, so against his former side, we'll see if he's got any scores to settle with any former teammates in the last 10 minutes here, Declan Foley. He knows only one way. I'd have to see him go up against Nowicki. All bets are off if that happens. She's lucky he didn't connect there. That was pretty rash from Declan Foley. And chipped forward there by Loic Farrell. Hamlet will give chase. The backspin. There's an offside flag raised.
I think he's been inspired by that first half performance from his ex-teammates, judging by that first 10 seconds.
He did feature quite prominently in the famous Knights giving the sword video. If the producer of that's out there, I think we've got enough content for a part 2. A couple
Just
of good
from this
challenges this evening. So, you know, if you're out there, please oblige. We're absolutely big fans of the work.
We're not going to make you watch every Knights game, just this one. There is enough content. Please, if you're out there, love it giving the sword 2019. There's Foley. It's his first meaningful touch on the ball. And there he is with Nowicki. Nice bit of arm fighting there between the two. Nowicki. And it's jinking and turning. Naden. Overlapping run there. Oh, shouldered off the ball. Alex Walter has flattened the Knights player. And then into works Nowicki. Oh, off the post. At Nowicki. On the 6-yard line. Alex Walter. One of the biggest shoulder barges I've seen this season. Lovely cross in the end. Nowicki. Stooping header. Great power. Great placement. He's desperately unlucky there, Matt Nowicki.
He's done brilliantly to just squirm his body into a position where that was even physically possible. He's defied physics to do that. Bulleted a header and cracked it into the crossbar. It's just been that sort of a night for Nowicki. It's been an almost sort of an evening He's been involved in everything, but unfortunately for his side, not a goal. And South Hobart look like they're going to walk away with the points this evening. Probably fair enough on balance of play. They've created more than enough to have won this game, but nice to give him plenty to think about. And Matthew Nowicki already on a yellow card, walking the tightrope late on. Just needs to be careful here that he doesn't get himself rubbed out for next week, I think.
Well, I'm about 8 minutes out of my prediction, as I did say 75th, but he's inching ever closer here, Matt Nowicki. Maybe just a quick chit-chat and a reminder about his card situation there from the referee. Declan Foley, he really wants to land one-on-one of his former teammates. You could see him premeditate that from about 10 yards away.
He won the ball in the end, but yeah, look, he's got 10 minutes to prove he belongs out there and should be starting for South Hobart as he returns. They've got a gluttony of midfielders, so he needs to make himself stand out. And the way Loic Farrell has played in that defensive midfield role tonight, hard to see him being displaced, but competition is fierce and these players will want to make every minute out there count. That is for sure, as South Hobart readying another change. Knights on the attack here. Hardwick straight in to Nick Morton though.
Oh, what
Morton forward, that's a great ball. Hamlet's going to beat Nesta there. He rounds the keeper and then under hits it. Just need to show a fraction more composure there, Hamlet, after initially doing really well.
Did well to get it around Nesta, but didn't quite get the purchase on it. Probably couldn't quite shape his body enough to get the purchase he wanted, as finally the ball goes out of play. Whiskey Van Dorn's reintroduction to Tasmania is frostbite there, judging by the amount of time he's been on the sideline.
I don't know if it's frostbite or just the salad that's been done up with some blonde tips there, but it could be ice on top of the head.
I'm getting strong NSYNC vibes there from Whiskey Van Dorn.
Yeah, real throwback.
Real late 90s blonde top deck-esque type salad there. Is another previous salad of the week winner. Alex Walter strides off. And the return of the Calgary Flyer, Whiskey Van Dorn.
Good to see him back down here in Tasmania. A popular player is Whiskey Van Dorn. His time at Zebras. Now he has a few minutes at the end here to try and make his mark on return. Playing for South Hobart as Nick Naden still running on strong, and he stands this one up, but will be easily clasped out of the air by Kieran Brown. Gets things moving quickly. And then Darcy Hall, Hamlet had made a run, instead switches it up there for Van Dorn, whose first involvement in the NPL Taz is to just leave the ball behind.
We'll be kind and say that's just him still being frozen to the sideline there.
Jet lag.
Jet lag. He'll
Yeah.
go jet lag. I'll just go frozen as Hamlet gets the ball down the sideline. Van Dorn eager to make amends. And that's a better touch from the Canadian. Back to the other substitute, Foley. And to Adam Gorry, who's got his usual amount of space. Shaping up here is Gorry. Eventually lays it off to Hall. And no advantage paid. Another free kick opportunity for South with 5 minutes to go. And as Nick Morton isn't on the score sheet, I reckon he's going to be not far away from this free kick.
Well, I think there'll be a few who would fancy it, but with the captain's armband and seniority on his side, I think good luck taking it away from the Morthog. I reckon the other possibility is just a little slided pass through to Gorry, who might make a bursting run. They're quite fond of that move, but 2-0 up in the 86th minute. You're the skipper of the team. You've got to be selfish here, don't you? Just be a little bit hungry and try and make the highlights real. But Adam Gorry standing over there, and now the dummy run. And he does take the shot on and finds the side netting only. Couldn't quite bend it back enough on this occasion. But, they love this move.
It just gets the player at the end of the wall to break out, which is a good ploy. It does open up that side of the goal, but not enough whip on it from the Morthog.
Didn't bite DJ Heggie, did he?
No, I think he'd seen that move before. Had Heggie, so that one's down the line, aiming for Nowicki, who's done exceptionally well to go 84 minutes without, or 82 minutes without getting another slice of cheddar here tonight. And as we have a look at the KGV scoreboard, working perfectly tonight, I might add.
Don't get used to that.
I'm praising it while it happens. as Gorry looks to take the throw. Foley was keen. Ends up with it. Tries to play in Hall. Now Brown. Naden. Heggie and Nowicki making forward runs. And he's going himself here. Nick Naden, still a bundle of energy. EJ Heggie beaten out by the rushing back Van Dorn. He'll now go for a run himself. Morton. Now Havainen. Foley with a move I've never seen before. Oscar Thomas. Wondering what on earth Declan Brown was trying to do and win a free kick out of that situation. Darcy Hall with the crossfield ball. Hardwick mops up. Now Havainen. To Foley, to Van Dorn, back to Havainen. Nice build up here from South, going towards the near post, but Nesta will claim that one. Nowicki just on his heels a bit there, and I don't think he was expecting Bowman to come after that one.
So the win tonight will send South Hobart to the top of the table, albeit till about 4 p.m. tomorrow, I would imagine. But they'll be clear by a point. Devonport will have 2 games in hand, and I imagine they'll move back top. And then, of course, the teams will meet next week. So really setting that one up quite nicely. And that will be a cracking game. I'm very impressed by what I've seen from Devonport. And Ken Morton dropping bombs at this morning's press conference, suggesting Raphael Reynolds on his way back to the Devonport Strikers. And
crikey.
I mean, came as the interview talent, and he was the newsbreaker this morning, Kenny, when he dropped that one on me. And geez, if that is true, and they had him, there is a formidable defensive lineup.
Having both of their star centre-back imports from the last 2 years, might as well bring back Joe Zuper as well while we're at it.
I think they'd be over the import limit at that point. Ignacio's young Bowley has been really good also there, but the formidable squad the Strikers have.
That'd be great to see Raph Reynolds back in the league. Him and Lescano would make quite the centre-back pairing. I don't think I would have seen any on paper better.
Well, you got Mulroney there too. One best way mid. Dom Smith.
Just get rid of the captain, seems a bit stiff, but anyway.
Todd Hingston, I mean, there's just strength.
Gluttonous almost there, potentially.
I'll laugh if this is completely off base, but he sounded pretty genuine when he suggested it was happening. So,
well, always got an ear to the gossip. There's the Silver Fox, who finally keeps that one in. Confusion reigns, and Morton, he finally gets on the score sheet. The captain, he's been denied by Nesta all night, but in the 90th minute, El Capitano Morthog gets on the score sheet.
He does. He gets his goal. Does the Morthog. 3-0 for South. A bit of emphasis on the final score now. They've been good value this evening, and Knights have fought hard, but they've just been worn down, and the 10 men are always going to be up against it. As we have a look here, a little bit of confusion, and Morton profiteers off it and says, thank you very much. And much like Matty Sanders in the Kingdra game last week, just gets his goal at the end as is his want. So South will take the points here tonight, and they'll move to the top of the NPL Tasmania. A fairly comfortable win. Albeit you'd imagine the Strikers will reclaim that tomorrow. One of 3 games tomorrow afternoon. Of course, Riverside taking on Olympia over at Warrior Park. And our live stream game will be back here at KG5 for the Italian derby as the Zebras take on Launceston City. Join us for that one as round 7 action in the NPL Taz continues tomorrow.
Yeah, looking forward to the Italian derby here tomorrow. As Thomas not happy about the lack of a free kick there. Riverside making what I'm assuming is their first ever trip to Warrior Park. I'd have to get that verified, but I certainly haven't played there in a competitive game to my knowledge. As we tick into added time, it'd be probably the standard 3 minutes. We have had an extra injury or 2 this half, but given the scoreline, I wouldn't expect much more. Hamlet trying to get to peak fitness. James sliding across. Probably the best time to do a slide tackle on KGV after a good hour or so of rain. Vinen takes it quickly. Good skill there from Iski Van Dorn. Goal kicks, and this game is petering out here. South Hobart, as we've mentioned, going to the top of the table. I did have as I was walking in, asked someone for a prediction, and they did say South Hobart by 3 goals. So full credit, stats man Benny Smith.
Yeah, he's sharp, that boy. Knights, again, they walk away frustrated. They've not got a result against one of the contenders, but again, they've shown in patches throughout the game that they can hang there, they can compete, they can offer a threat, but they're just not quite there yet. And obviously, the red card just made it pretty well impossible for them at the end of having a late rally. But look, there is a gap between Knights and the top few sides I think we've seen, but I think it's one that can be closed fairly quickly, especially once they get to full strength. And you get your Thomas Youngs and Callum Browns back in there. If Harrison can stay on the park for 90 minutes, as Adam Gorey might try and find a fourth here, because all on his own is Iski Van Dorn, and cleared off the line, saving a certain goal there. And it is almost 4-0. Very nicely done. Who's it back there? Samuel James, I think, who's managed to just get up to that using every inch to clear it away and deny Van Dorn a dream return.
Would have been a great return there for the Canadian. There's Gorry. One holds up in the wind, effectively cleared. Nowicki doesn't put a foot in on Foley. Now Van Dorn up against Brown. Delightful ball from Brown, and Oscar Thomas is the furthest forward for South. Him getting on the score sheet from open play would be a rarity.
There's a Giraffe just galloping forwards there, just maybe sensing a chance to add one late. Not to be, however. It looks like we're going to end 3-0 in this one. A look at the watch from Stratos. So, seconds left, and there it is. Full time at KG5. South Hobart jump to the top of the NPL Tasmania for at least a few hours. They claim a 3-0 win over the Glenorchy Knights. A fairly commanding performance. They were certainly made to work for it. Knights had their moments, but at the end of the day, South, they're very much the deserved winners on the evening.
Yeah, very much deserved winners. Just a quick look at the shot count. They had 18 shots in the end, South Hobart, between their on and off. And to be fair, 3-0, it could have been 6 if they took some of their chances in the first half. Knights will be pretty content with their first half performance. You can tell they've got something to build on. Here the club recently back up into the NPL Tas, but that second half just did not go their way through injuries and cards. As we have a look at the goals again, it was Gorry and De Souza who opened up the Knights' defence before playing a lovely ball through to Alex Walter. Another back post goal, and then Hall. De Souza, and again, similarities between the two goals. Just finding space between centre-back and left-back did South, and it was at this moment that Hallard got sent off, and it really was all over. And then the mix-up at the back gives Mortog an absolute gift for his token goal at the end there. But yeah, fully deserved victory for South Hobart in the end here, I think.
It certainly was. So that's all from us here. Andrew Calling and Paul Hunt from KG5 this evening. And the Bion Stream team will be back tomorrow evening from this very venue when Hobart Zebras take on Launceston. So do join us for that one. But for this evening from KG5, it's bye for now.